Hey, hello everyone. So if you're joining live, please say hi so I know you're there because I can't see anybody. Okay. So welcome to this webinar. It's the Facebook lives are a little bit challenging for me because it's not like Zoom where I can see your little hi. I can see your little boxes and your faces and all of that. I have no idea who's watching, who's there. So the only way I know is if you just write in a little hello. And so then I know, oh, okay, somebody's here. And of course, during the whole webinar at any time, you can always put in a message. Hey, hi. Hi, Tamir. Haiti, Sila. So we have Estonia. Haiti, I don't know where you are. I know Tamir is in Portugal. If you want to say where you are, that's also fine, but you don't have to. So I'll just wait to another minute in case anybody wants to join from the beginning, and then we're going to dive into it. Okay. Oh, you're in Uvescala. Okay. Yes, up the street. Well, comparatively speaking. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So we start. Love from Portugal. Ay. Thank you. I was hoping I could come this year, but yeah, let's see what happens. Anyway, I'm coming this way. I'm coming virtually. So, first to say how this initiation, how this initiative came about. There's a trilogy of full moons. There's a trilogy of energies, esoterically speaking. Trilogy meaning 3 parts, and these 3 parts are the Aries, Taurus, and Gemini zodiacs, and it's a very powerful time. And for me, it's not a coincidence that this is happening. That the whole coronavirus thing is happening during this time. For me, it makes total sense when I look at what these initiations are meant to do for the individual and for the collective and for humanity and for the planet. So I wanted to give people a taste of that without it having to be too esoteric. So right now I'm going to share a little bit about the background of that and how and what it means, and then we're going to get into the experiential. And for me, it is important that you do understand the context at the most basic level. Hola, comadre. It's important to me that you do understand the esoterics at the most basic level, because without that, you won't understand how important what we're moving through is. It might be important in your personal life or in your community or even in your country or your family, but it has much greater importance beyond our single experience in this body, in this form. Okay, so what I did not write in the Facebook announcement of this live is that this is called the Festival of Christ. And the reason I didn't write that explicitly is because of the baggage the word Christ, has for many who have been raised Christian or who have been exposed to Christian religion. So let me just say, the second one in May is called the Festival of the Buddha. Thank you. Now, when I say that, Festival of Christ versus Festival of the Buddha, do you notice there might be any different reaction inside of you, even if it's on the mental level, or maybe it is more on the emotional triggered kind of level? Most people don't have the same level of triggering with the title Buddha as they do with the title Christ. And the third one is called the Festival of Humanity. So that's the trilogy: the Festival of Christ, the Festival of the Buddha, and the Festival of Humanity. So we begin with part one, the Festival of the Christ. And Christ, just like Buddha, is a title. It's not a person. It's a label that is given to a certain type of master. So when we refer to the Buddha, it's Gautama the Buddha. And there have been many Buddhas. And there were Buddhas before Gautama the Buddha, and there were Buddhas after Gautama the Buddha. And there still are Buddhas. And Christ is a title, and Jesus was an example of Christ. So let's start with that. Let's start with the timing of this Festival of the Christ, which is around Easter. There are two celebrations of Easter in Christianity. One is Eastern and one is Western. This coming weekend is the Western, the Catholic and Protestant, and then the following weekend is the Eastern Orthodox, so Greek, Armenian, Russian, Ukrainian, and so forth. So two different celebrations of Easter. What does Easter represent? Rebirth, resurrection, redemption. All of those qualities. And so that's why this is called the Festival of Christ. It is, do we remember ourselves as who we truly are? Do we remember ourselves as souls? And this is the energy that's available to us if we tap into it, if we want to. So I know I've been singing the same song about do you remember yourself as a soul for some time now. But this is the time in the year where there's lots of support, cosmically speaking, to do that. And of course, that can happen at any time, in any way. Wani has asked, in May, what's the festival called? It's the Festival of the Buddha. It's Vesak. It's, the Vesak festival. And so it's the Festival of the Buddha. Yeah, so we'll get to that next month, next full moon. Okay, so taking a moment now, and the way we always begin, closing your eyes and going in, connecting to your heart, connecting to yourself. And what is your intention for yourself for this 1 hour that we have together, or maybe slightly more? What is your intention that you want from you, for others? What's your yes about? Energy follows intention, so being clear about it. Okay. So now the first question to reflect on, and just maybe if you want to type in some answers, I'd be happy to read them out loud. What are some Christ-like, not Jesus in particular as a being, but Christ-like qualities? So whatever comes, naming them. And if you want to write them in your notebook, or also write them into this chat box, and getting some ideas. And let that come from inside. It's not like I have to go back to my Bible studies or my Sunday school studies or whatever. What are some Christ-like qualities that you believe to be true in your realm of what is true and what is possible? So let's see. Pure love. Yeah. So I'll throw one in, compassion. What else? Justice. Yeah. the fairness, standing for what is right or what is just, no matter what. What else? Just another moment for this. Forgiveness. Yes, a big one. The capacity to forgive. Unity. Yes, the connection and the togetherness. That I am connected, that you are me, the union. Beautiful, Trin, thank you. And one more. Our minute's running out. Okay, I'll add one more. Truth. A sense of truth. What is true? Yeah. Hi, Shanti. So, these are just some examples of caretaking, taking care of others. Yes, thank you. Yeah. So, these are some examples of Christ-like qualities. And now, taking a moment, closing your eyes again, and now reflecting. Do I embody any of the ones that have been mentioned, written, or that I wrote in my own list? Do I embody any of these Christ-like qualities? Do I live them out in my daily life? Perhaps not 100% of the time. Humility, being humble, yes. Perhaps not 100% of the time. Perhaps not impeccably, meaning without error or tripping over without making a mistake. But do I embody them in my everyday life? So just taking a moment and reflecting that for yourself. And observing, is there any resistance in you from owning, yes, I embody Christ-like energies. Yes, I can. Yes, I do. In claiming that, in owning it. And just noticing if there is any resistance. And if there isn't, great, there's no need to create it. But if there is, recognizing it. Okay, and now the second reflection. And this is all the warm-up, by the way, so we can get into it. How do I avoid, or how do I get in the way, or how do I doubt, or how do I sabotage these qualities? Now, everything that was listed are universal qualities. They're not belonging to an individual being, or that you have to be of an individual, or you have to be of a particular economic class or culture or age or anything of the sort, right? They're universal. Anyone has access to all of those that were just listed. We associate them with Christ-likeness. Now, if they're universal, which means I could have access to them, how do I get in the way of their expression? So the first one was about resistance to you owning that, yeah, you do have Christ-like qualities. And now the question is, how do I actually get in the way and sabotage or push them away or avoid? Consciously or unconsciously, of course. It's just taking a moment for that. The big stuff that pops out. Trust whatever comes. So some of the comments are that there is resistance and there's sorrow about that resistance, and that one of the ways of sabotaging is being self-righteous. Yes, beautiful. So good that you connected to that, because the shadow of that Christ-like energy is one of the shadows is of the Christ-like energy is being self-righteous, that I am better than thou, I know more than thou, or I'm holier than thou, or more divine than thou, or more loving than thou, whatever. Self-righteousness, that's what self-righteousness is. Another way of sabotaging thoughts. Yeah. It can be thoughts. It can also be emotions of I'm not good enough. I'm not important enough, or I don't know how, or I can't, or I'm broken, or this kind of not enoughness is a big one also, because whoa, that I'm going to embody those qualities, that those are going to move through me on a daily basis. Postponing. Yeah, like I want to reach out, or I want to, whatever the impulse is, and then postponing it like later. Self-sabotaging. Beautiful. Thank you, Shanti, for that. Yeah. Okay, so these are some of the ways. If you have more, just take a couple of seconds more, a few more seconds to see if there's anybody who wants to write in anything else, and then we'll move to the next stage. Okay. All right. So this was prep, because if this is the festival of Christ, it's not Christ out there. It's Christ in here. Christ the title, not Christ the being, not Jesus. So the invitation is to recognize the Christ in you, just like next month it will be to recognize Buddha. But here we stay with to recognize the Christ in you, the Christ-like qualities in you. And that self-remembering. What Jesus did, one of the things that he represented, was that he came and he said, in the most human, even more so than Buddha, because Buddha was about 500 years before that, Gautama the Buddha, he spoke to people, yes, you can go beyond the suffering, yes, you can go beyond the attachments, yes, you can know your infiniteness, you can go beyond the cycle of samsara, of the karmas and so forth. Yes. And what Christ said was, feel love, yeah, and connect to love. Connecting to the love for yourself and for others, and that unity that was written about. And remember who you are. You are the son of God. You are the daughter of God. You are sacred. And all of a sudden it was like, what? No, those are like, the priests are kind of like the in-between people, and then there's God up there, but like, what do I have to do with God? It's like divinity in matter. The sacred living in this body. And that was part of his message through love. So there's been some more comments about not enoughness and the pain and insecurities of that. And then another comment of needing to choose between two, not being able to include both. Yeah. So yes, so this is where we're going, exactly where we're going. So the message got lost in translation and became a religion. But if we rewind before the religion to the resurrection, it's the resurrection of your soul, living in this body. You are divine, and this is the home of your soul, here now, embodied. So let's get into it. So taking a comfortable position. It's better if you're sitting or standing instead of laying down, but laying down is also okay. It just takes more effort perhaps to stay more aware if you're laying down. So that was a bunch of the whatever theory was needed to be said. And now we go into the experiential. So again, connecting to your heart. And it's going to be a lot about connecting to the heart, right? And this is our personal portal to a personal love, and then a beyond the personal, transpersonal love, and then universal love. But we start with just connecting at the heart center. Taking some deep breaths. And we're going to evoke the power of Aries. Aries is the initiator in the zodiac. It's the first. It is the one that is full of fire to set out. And it's the one that seeds. Spring, seeds. And then the other zodiacs work with whatever is seeded. So, okay, that's what we're going to work with. The fire of Aries. The fire that is in the form of the passion of your soul. Through your heart now, connecting to what is it that you hold most sacred. It's not a big story, it's not a person, it's not a particular situation. It's an energy, a quality. What is it that I hold the most sacred? That I will fight for this, I will stand for this, I will stand alone for this. And for some, I would even die for this. What is the quality that you hold most sacred? One word, maximum two, but really try to get one word. Maybe it's truth, maybe it's freedom, maybe it's just pure love, love as love itself. Maybe it's unity. What is it that I hold the most sacred? A few more seconds for that. Trusting what comes. And you're, in my case, and if you're more of the embodied type, your body will let you know. Yeah. You start to feel either crying or a strong emotional response or some kind of passion, some kind of heat, some arousal, some eros, some excitement. And when you have it, just let it vibrate. What is its frequency inside of you? How does it vibrate? What happens in your body? What are the physical sensations? The energy flow? Maybe there's visuals if you're really visual. If you're not, don't worry, you don't have to have visuals. But you do have a body, and therefore you do have sensations, physical sensations. And so what happens? Hold that vibration, that which I hold most sacred. And hold nothing else. Let everything else drop. No doubts, no second thoughts, no what if, or can I word this a little bit better? Once you hit bullseye, vibration, let it just vibrate. And take a few moments to just let it move in you, through you. If you have the space and you have the privacy and you feel to, you can allow your body to move or expand. Taking this soul quality of what is that you hold most sacred. This is your soul. This is an aspect of your soul. Beyond the personality of right and wrong and preferences. That it holds in the holy of holies of your heart. This is what I hold most sacred. So once you've allowed it to move through you, sound, express, if that is your way. And so it's fully alive. If you can, if you wish, you can type in whatever has come to you so you can get some feel for what those are. I gave some examples, but yours might be different. And just take a few seconds for this if you want to type that in. It helps give the group a support even though you're all in your own process. And stay with the fire. Stay with the fire of Aries, the passion. And you might feel it in your heart, you might feel it in your base, your sex, and your sacral, and your crown. Okay, so nobody's typing in any examples. I'm going to assume that you're very in your process, and that's why you can't type, and that's totally fine. Okay. Now, staying with that, unconditional love. Okay, one example. Freedom, another one. Yes, these are classic, good. This is great. Yes, beautiful. Okay, and now, in what way are you honoring this quality that you hold most sacred in your everyday life? And it doesn't have to be a big thing that you're leading groups or that, you're the head of a company or something like that. Everyday life, in your daily relationships, in the way you move through the world. In what ways am I honoring this energy in my everyday life? Stay with that. Let the images or the examples come up. And own it. Yes. Redemption. Yes. Reclaiming. Yes. I am connected to the sacred. And these are some examples of how I live that in my everyday life. It doesn't have to be 100% of your waking hours. It's okay. Just take a moment for this. Okay. And of course you can continue later, but we're just going to move along for the sake of the guidance. But these are just doors I'm opening, and we're opening together. And you can keep walking through the door later on today or for the rest of your life, hopefully. It's okay. These are the ways that it's expressed in my everyday life. Now, allow the following, what I'm about to say, to sink very deeply in, like an arrow that's shooting through and helping open up the petals of your soul inside of you and its emergence. This is what I've come to serve. This is the love I've come to be. This is the expression of love that I'm in service to. Let that vibrate through you. Rising up to that. If there's any contraction or feeling small or not important or all the previous things you said that you do to sabotage Christ-like energies or to get in the way, this is the time to allow the expansion and to override those tendencies. Override the patterns of smallness, the shackles. You just named how you express this in everyday life. Now own this, because the soul is only here to serve love. That's all. And those expressions of love might be different. It might be unconditional about love, freedom, truth, and whatever else might be moving through you. It's still the different colors of the same rainbow. Love. And a soul is in service. It's not about yourself. soul is not concerned primarily with the personal self. That's our personality's job. At the soul level, we're concerned with humanity, and we're serving something larger. It may not have to be the whole collective, something larger. Okay, taking a deep breath. Okay, now, what happens when you're connected to this passion of your soul? Well, this is the seeding of Aries. Who wants to be seated? This is the initiator energy of Aries. Who wants to be birthed? But it's from the soul realm coming through into the materials. The same thing that happens individually in our bodies, but now letting it express out. What wants to be seated? Birth, made manifest, materialized. It's not a clever idea in your mind. It's from that passion, that heat, that aliveness. Let it come and trust. Maybe it's in a vision, maybe it's an understanding. Maybe it's just your body moving in a certain way. Maybe a certain word comes, whatever comes. Listen and allow. Okay, so this is where we ignite the passion or the fire at the body level to support, to hold that vision or that inspiration or that longing or that yearning to seed, to manifest. So this is now, how do you ignite the passion, the fire, the force, the living through the body? And for some, it might be a life force activation through the base. That this is, I'm just opening my body up to the power of the earth that moves through me from below up. Or it might be the fire of the eros, of the life force energy that moves and expresses itself as erotic energy. Now, life force energy is eros, but how do you connect to it? It's okay. Go there. Now, connecting and igniting the fire and the passion of the body through movement, through breath, through sound. Letting all your cells become alive, full of passion, full of life. Your organs and your muscles. And maybe you stand, or maybe you're on your fours, your hands and knees, or maybe you're rolling around, or you're massaging yourself. However you're allowing it to activate, now invite in life force to move through your base and into your cells and into your body, every aspect of it, from life itself, moving through the base of the earth. And if it supports you, you can spiral. This is what I always do. Moving the hips, spiraling, As if my base, my perineum, my anus, my yoni, and if you don't have a yoni, your cock is breathing in this energy, or maybe it's from the soles of your feet, breathing in the energy from the base of the earth. You can also be sitting, moving your whole pelvis, your pelvic bowl. Activating fire, passion, and life force at the level of the body. A few more moments for this. Allow it to become exciting, just like the soul passion was. Exciting and juicy. Ecstatic. Maybe even orgasmic. Letting that take over. That life, that movement of life, that movement of passion, the movement of heat. Fire. Let it move you. Last moments. And if emotions come, it's fine. Allow them, let them come through. And just like clouds in the sky, they pass. And we don't reject them or avoid them or cling on to them. If your body wants to move in certain ways or whatever, you just allow. Last moments. Okay, and now inviting that you hold most sacred. So it's like you're inviting it to come through at the top of your head, into the middle of your body, and to move down through the energy center of your body. Or if it feels right, then it's like a shower of energy that is like when you get under the shower and just blessings start to come down, like that. And it pours through you, in you, on you. That which you hold sacred, bring it down. Bring it down. Allow it to come down all the way to the heart. Yes, and now all the way down solar plexus. And notice if there's any resistance in your body, solar plexus, your personal center of power, personal power. I am important. I can. And let it keep descending if possible. If not, stay there and stay with that vibration of the sacred and the resistance. And just let the two meet and see what happens when the two can be present. What's the alchemy? If you can keep going, go down now, sacral, desire, emotional body. Joy and pleasure, bringing the sacred there. And notice if there's any resistance here. And if there is, again, do the same. Just let that vibration of that energy, of what you hold most sacred, be in the presence of this resistance. You don't have to fight it or force through it. Just let the two resonate at the same time and see what happens. Alright, and if you can now, keep moving down now to the base, to the root, perineum, anus. Can what I hold most sacred come all the way down here? Can it vibrate still here? Taking deep breaths. This is the hardest, but very possible. And this is where you might find the most resistance. And so if there is resistance, just like with the other two layers, allow it. Connect to it. It's pointing you towards something. What is it? What's the resistance about? And if there isn't resistance, there's just your pure animal heat, passion, fire, life waiting there. It's the fertile soil. That is our base. The fertile soil on which this can be planted. Aries. This soul expression. Then great, allow that seeding. But if you're not there yet, it's okay. Face the resistance. Let the two vibrate there. Maybe there's fear around survival, fear that you'll have to make certain kinds of decisions, fear what will become of you, fear that you can't live up to this, that you're just one little tiny speck, grain of salt or sand in the vast universe. Keep allowing both to vibrate at the same time, that which is most sacred. Hold it, keep holding. And that fear or lack, not enoughness, let them both be there. Remembering this, whatever you hold most sacred is an expression of love. And whatever is the resistance, what happens when love meets it? That it doesn't have to become something different, but love is here now. And it's not going anywhere. You've got to hold that. Keep holding. Now entering into the festival of Christ. I know myself. I remember who I am. In the presence of these resistances, of this fear, of these wounds, of this lack of whatever, I know who I am. I know why I'm here. I know my little piece of what I'm holding. The sacred. The redemption. The resurrection. In the myth, in the story of Christ, Jesus, the Christ, Yeshua, the resurrection meant leaving the body. 2,000 years later, that was the beginning of the Piscean age, as was the Gautama, the Buddha. 2,000 years later, we're the Aquarian age, the beginning of the Aquarian age. Resurrection and redemption and remembering who you are no longer involves leaving the body. You no longer have to choose between being a soul or being a manifested body, mind, personality. The two are not separate. Allowing that fusion. A few more moments.
claim your place. Claim your place as love. And notice what that does. How that affects your whole being, your whole body. Your energy flow, your physical sensations. And now if you have the space around you, get up. If you're sitting, if you're standing, begin to walk. Walk through the different relationships in your life. Walk through different scenarios in your life from this place. Meet others, maybe including those that you might feel conflict with, triggered by, or lack of connection with in some way. When soul has descended, has been received at the base, how is it? How is that? What does it look like? What does it sound like? What does it feel like as you move through the world, your specific personal world? What about your job? Those are two big categories: work and relationships. Now we bring in Libra. Libra is the sign exactly opposite 6 months from now. And so this is the Aries-Libra Axis, because we work with the polarities. What's out of alignment? What's out of alignment? Am I relating? Am I relating to myself? Am I relating to others? With the expression, the manifestation of that which I as a soul hold most sacred, and that I know I am here to live and express and be. What's out of alignment? And you might be shown or come to an understanding things that are difficult to admit. And this is the test. This is the Christ-like qualities that come back in now. Can I stand for this no matter what? Am I willing to make these sacrifices? Am I willing to be that which I always was meant to be? And notice the price you're asked to pay. Figuratively speaking, Jesus paid prices on behalf of us all. That was the Piscean age. We're now in the Aquarian age. And we're all asked to pay our own price, our own ticket. That's what this whole pandemic situation is inviting us to do. The leadership, the yes, has to come from within. Not out there. I'm no longer searching for mommy and daddy to make it right out there, for some leader to tell me how to do it, to be taken care of, etc., etc. I will stand for it. I will be it. Because that's what I was always meant to do. That's what I was always meant to be. So notice your own crucifixion. Literally, extend your arms out to the side like a cross. And feel yourself being pulled one side to another. Where there might be a very strong, something out of alignment that's very strong for you. The sacred, that which you hold most sacred on one side, and that whatever is out of alignment on the other. And that's your cross. That's your crucifixion. Going into it, feeling it. This isn't where we turn the other way, where we turn on Netflix or get distracted. This is where we have a chance for the resurrection in our daily life. And you don't have to make a decision, you just need to be willing. You give your yes, you give your consent. Now connect to your heart. Because that's at the center of the cross, at the center of your crucifixion. Give your yes to being who you really are, to remembering who you really are, and to living that. I give my consent for whatever is in the way of that to fall, to be dissolved. You don't have to know how, but you do have to give your yes. Let that fire of Aries support you. Burn through whatever impurities. The passion, the fire of soul and body meeting at the heart. Let that fire burn. And calling in life force to support you. If you give your consent, if you don't, that's okay. Stay with the cross. Or you give your consent, let life support you to do what you cannot do, or what you don't know how. Saying yes to life force, to life itself, to the universe, to spirit, to God, moving you. Let that pierce your heart at the center. And surrender. As a soul, you are in service. Service to life. Let that pierce through you. Let the final seeding happen now at the center of your heart. The seeding of God in this form, expressing, manifesting as this form, dropping all other illusions. May we all know ourselves as God. May we all know ourselves as love. May we all recognize divinity in matter, in this form, each other's forms, the planet itself. The festival of Christ is upon us.
Welcome to the Festival of Christ. And how does that feel? How does that feel in your body, in your being, in your energy? If you need to move, stretch out, shake. And I'd like to give space if there's... I wish we could do this where I could hear you and I could reply to you like that and see you. And I'm a group room facilitator, as you can tell, not a virtual one. But I know that this message needs to go as far as it can, and during these times of chosen or imposed isolation, this is the only way. So, thank you for joining me today. That's the end of the guided practice. I'd love to hear from you, your sharing. Okay, so we have... Thank you so much, Taki'h. This was so powerful and exactly what I needed now. Boom. Yes, boom. Worthiness and courage. Yes, yes, yes. Releasing, blessed. Wow. Peaceful and ecstatic. I want to say something about the releasing, because there's emotional level releasing, like I'm stuff that's an energy kind of releasing at that level of mind, body, mind. But there's also the releasing that comes when we recognize ourselves as not only this body, mind, and not only this form. And so then our soul, our energy field can be released from the shackles of form. It still can be expressed divinely through form, but it doesn't have the illusion that that's all it is. So the releasing can also be the release of your soul. And finally, yes, it's been released and it can be lived. It's been released from the ethers, allowed to descend, allowed to be seated in your base, that flowering. Allow the base, all that mud
Allow the seed of your lotus to be anchored there. That's the seeding. And then the other seeding was through the heart center. You are God. Okay, what else do we have? We have peaceful and ecstatic. We also have what clarity. Thank you so much. You're welcome. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. It was beautiful. So a bunch of thank yous. So I'm just going to wait another 5 minutes if there's anything else that wants to be shared, or if there's any other questions. The way we used the Aries was Aries energy was the initiating, and the fire, the passion, the passion of soul and the passion of body, allowing those two to meet. And then we use Libra, which is its polarity. Yeah. The polarity of the zodiacs right now, 6 months from now, is the balance, bringing into balance what is out of balance, sacred balance, sacred reciprocity, and of relating. So that's Libra. So what was out of balance, out of alignment, and with your relating to yourself, relating to others, relating to the planet, relating to God. So it's how we brought those two energies, zodiacal energies, in to support us. Another comment, no words. Thank you. And I encourage you that right now, if you are, especially if you're in a space where there's been a lot moved and a lot shown, to give yourself time, drink water, rest, massage, go for a walk if you can. Just integrate at the body level. Don't go into the mind and all the, what does that mean? And now what do I have to do? And oh my God, forget that. Okay? And don't overanalyze it. Just feel it and let it sink in. Take some notes of whatever has come through, if that feels right for you. Otherwise, trust that it's there, anchored in your organs, in your cells, in your muscle memory. And then when you can come back to it from a more analytical place, if that's what excites you, go for it. But otherwise, trust that it's anchored and live it. Celebrate your soul emergence. Ta-da! What else? Thank you, Taki'h. This felt really clarifying and empowering. You helped me, and another one, you helped me to go in at the point where I could see my resistment from a different kind of angle. It opened something. Great. I feel deeply centered. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this. This was exactly the support that I needed on what I know is true. The guidance and support to strengthen my own power and soul purpose. Thank you again for your amazing clarity. You rock. Thank you. Yes, that is one of my soul gifts, this clarity. And that can be developed. The more you identify with soul, the more things become so clear. All this, like when you have blinders like this, or you feel like you're a little ant, you can't see the bigger picture. But when you can fly above like an eagle or a condor, above the valleys, the clarity that comes, those details, those illusions, now they don't have power over you anymore. So yeah, the more you anchor in soul, the more clarity you will have. And the more clarity you have, the more you get anchored in soul. So it works as a feedback loop. So it's a little insight for those who want to work with soul emergence. So I know that it's not only Christians on this call right now, on this live, but for those who are Christian and also for those who are not, the celebration of Christ is going to be celebrated in a very ritualistic, religious way this weekend coming up and the following weekend for the Eastern and Western Christianity. And I invite you to connect to that as an essence, to connect to that as that we're all possibly invited to. So we're all invited to it. We all have the possibility to remember ourselves as souls, to remember who we are and why we're here. What's our piece, our drop that we're here holding. And if it wasn't for that, it's incomplete. It's incomplete. Because you're holding that piece. Just like I'm holding my little piece. So please, support humanity to become whole again. Thank you. Thank you all for joining me today. Much love to you all.